With counters, your opponent makes the attack, you counter with another attack. With combinations, you make the attack, your opponent resists, and you combine it with another technique. This is excellent practice for competition, provided that Tori attempts the previous technique properly and Uke actually resists at the appropriate time. Otherwise it's just lip service and no one benefits. If the combinations are performed correctly, Tori learns to respond spontaneously to the resistance of Uke. Then the technique flows with the resistance, and Tori then uses the most appropriate technique.
You attempt Gyaku Menate as you did before. This time, as you come to here, he brings his hand up and blocks your strike. Raise his arm up so that the two arms are trapped above his head. At the same time, step to the side of his body, dropping your weight and keeping your arm in the part circle. What you want to avoid is getting into here so that you're weak. You can't push. Again, you're not pushing with the arm. You're pushing with the movement of your body as you go back to here. You're not pushing like this to here. So, once again, if we do this slowly, pull down, he blocks, jam, to here. Again, using your body, not using the arm. So, your opponent attacks you. In theory, you're trying for osh tai osh, but your opponent bends his elbow downwards to resist you. Your left hand comes over and locks into the apex of this triangle here, right into the wrist. Keep the fingers absolutely straight and rigid, and this will strengthen the tendons of the hand. As you do this, you step through with the left foot, pulling the arm well into the shoulder. Make certain that you don't pull the arm outwards. The technique will not be as effective and there'll be a danger of your opponent's shoulder joint coming out of place. So make sure you go directly into that arm when you're applying this technique. So once again, you attempt osh tai osh, your opponent drops his elbow, and you come to here. Use your hips to get that power. This comes from a hip movement. And as you do this, so you step through to the side of your opponent with your right foot. There, into here. Keep these fingers straight and rigid. Don't do this, don't grip your own wrist. Don't push against them. This action here. Once more. 1. He resists. 2. If your arm isn't straight, if it's bent as you apply the technique, he can resist by leaning in. From here, as you do this, keep these arms completely straight. So as he resists, it's not so easy. In this technique, you again try for Hikyo Tosh. As you start to pull, your opponent stops you and resists by pulling his arm into himself, by pulling it backwards, this way. You simply flow with his movement. As he pulls back, flow, stepping in with your left foot. Bring your right hand over the top of his arm and link it into your left hand. We'll turn around, you'll see this in a moment. At the same time, you're going to turn your hips, keeping this arm straight, and throw him, keeping this posture as you turn. We'll look at this from the camera's point of view, shall we? You're here, you pull your opponent down, and he resists. Step forward with your left foot to his side. Your right hand comes over, down here, and through here. Don't grip, keep the fingers straight and rigid, and this strengthens the tendons in the arm. At the same time, you're going to turn your hips, bringing this upwards. And as you do, you turn, your opponent will do a rolling break. Hey! Hey! Yeah! Yeah! The next technique is used when your opponent resists Kote Hiniri. As he comes in, you start Kote Hiniri, you get to this point. He pulls his arm downwards, allow your thumbs to slide onto the back of his hand so that they meet just this side of the centre knuckle. Use your body weight and step, bringing the arm up and round in Kote Gaish, here. We look at that movement again slowly. Start here, he resists. 1, 2. When he's on the floor, then you secure him with the Kote Gaish lock. Once more. 1, 2. Try and feel, don't just simply get into the habit of, once again, 1, 2, 1, 2. Try and feel what your opponent's doing. With all of these techniques, try and feel what your opponent, is he moving forwards, is he moving backwards, is he resisting? And go with the flow. Use the techniques in this manner. So again, as he comes in, wait till you feel that resistance, then in for the Kote Gaish. As your opponent attacks you, you start to attempt Mayo Tosh, just slightly. As you do, your opponent pulls his arm backwards to resist. Your right hand moves from wrist to the upper forearm. At the same time, you bring the arm up, stepping through with your left foot, and push. Very, very similar to a sword cut, where you're bringing the sword up and cutting forward. Once again, just slowly. Same as Mayo Tosh to begin with, he pulls his arm back, you come onto the forearm, bring the arm up, and throw your opponent. Yeah!